Okay, so today we are going to continue obviously our Indian Contract Act only. Okay, part 2. Yesterday we did the basics of Indian Contract Act with all the essential elements of Indian Contract Act. Today we are going to do Indian Contract Act discharge of contract. Okay, so today's topic, okay, today's lecture will be we will be talking about how a contract can get discharged, okay, and how the parties to the contract also can get discharged. Okay, so now discharge means nothing but it is termination of a contract. Termination, coming to an end. Termination of a contract. Okay, so there are various ways in which a contract can be discharged or terminated, okay, brought to an end. So the first one, the most simplest one, once the performance of the contract has been done, okay, once it has been performed, performance of contract will discharge the contract. Okay, so first we will concentrate on performance of a contract. In performance, first under section 38, okay, it talks about tender of performance. Tender of performance means what? Okay, like if I have made some promise and I do something to fulfill my promise, I tender my promise. Okay, so if it is sufficient, it is sufficient if the promiser performs his part of promise. Okay, so we will take our example of that car only, selling of car. Okay, so if I had promised you that I will pay rupees 1 lakh and I have performed my promise, so here it will be known as tender of performance. Okay, so from my end, I have already performed the contract. Okay, next, in case of performance only, who can demand performance? Who can demand performance? Okay, so an assignee can demand. If a particular person has been assigned for that work, an assignee can demand, or the promisee can demand. Okay, because every contract has a consideration moving from both the parties. Okay, so there is a promiser and there is a promisee for one consideration. Okay, and consideration moves from both the sides. Okay, so when the car is being sold, car is sold, the promise is performed from the promiser's point of view. Okay, now the promisee has to make the payment. Okay, so this is known as either the assignee or the promisee. Anyone can demand for a particular performance of the contract. Okay, next is under section 39. Okay, now what does this section talk? This also talks about the performance of the promise only, when performance of the contract. But what will be the effect of refusal of one party? Okay, what is the effect of refusal of one party to perform wholly? To perform wholly. यानी थोड़ा काम किया, अभी थोड़ा नहीं कर रहे हैं. Then what? What will be the effect? In that case, the promisee may terminate. Okay, put an end. May end the contract with that particular person, or if he is okay, okay, contract unless he has signified his acquiescence. It is known as acquiescence in the continuance. I'll give you an example. Okay. Now say there is one party who is performing only part of the contract, and for the remaining part they are refusing to perform. Now it is a choice of the promisee whether he doesn't want to work with that particular promiser, so he can end the contract there and there, unless he is going ahead and he's signifying the continuance of acquiescence of the continuance in the performance of the contract by the promiser. Now how will this happen? Say suppose example. Okay, say X had contracted to sing, okay, uh, in a theater. Okay, so who appointed him? Mr. Y. Mr. Y का ये theater है. Alright, so Mr. X had contracted with Mr. Y to sing in Mr. Y's theater, and Mr. Y was supposed to pay him rupees 100 per performance. Per performance, per night. Okay, per night performance, rupees 100 per night. Okay, now what happened is, now contract was generally Mr. X had to come and sing in Y's theater. Okay, now what happened is, 2 nights, okay, properly Mr. X, he came, he was singing in the theater. Okay, he was also been, he was being told that how many nights you'll pay, we will be giving you the uh, amount. Okay, now after 2 nights he skipped, he didn't come for other 2 nights. Okay, he didn't come for other 2 nights, he had to come every day. So now other 2 nights he was not present. It is a choice for Mr. Y to either cancel this contract and pay rupees 100 for the part performance which he's already done, rupees 200 here, or what happened is, on the fifth night, Mr. X came, okay, and Mr. Y allowed him to sing also. So now here it is an implied acquiescence. No, Mr. Y is okay of Mr. X not coming for those 2 nights. यही हो गया. Okay, so he has accepted Mr. X to come and sing on that fifth night despite of his absence for that other 2 nights. So here he had a choice to cancel. Mr. Y had a choice to cancel or terminate the contract. But if he has already, okay, given and signified his acquiescence in the continuance of the promiser's promise, okay, then in that case it will be known as a tendering of the performance even on the part of the promiser. Okay, now in performance also there is one thing under section 40. See, now who will perform the promise? Generally it is between the parties, okay, intended parties. Okay, but say if the intention of the parties, is in such a manner that the promiser himself, okay, himself must perform, then the promiser, okay, then promiser has to perform. In all the other cases it can be assigned, or the agent can also perform the promise. Okay, इट्स ओके, अभी पैसा मुझे देना है या मेरा एजेंट तुम्हें दे देता है, उससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. बट अगर इंटेंशन ऐसा है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल पेंटिंग, ओके, आई हैड कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड यू टू पेंट my sketch, okay, or to draw my sketch, okay, I wanted a beautiful painting to be done for my house. Okay, so now here obviously Since you are the painter, you will tell your agent what to go ahead and come and do painting for me. No, na. I want the promiser himself to perform the particular promise. Then yes, I can demand this from the promiser himself. Okay, got it? I'll move to the next.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Sure. Now next will be discharge by mutual agreement. Okay. B. Discharge by mutual agreement. Okay. Now what is this mutual agreement? Either you have waived a particular promise to be performed, okay, or there is a release of the promise to be performed, or agreement of all parties, like how partners can agree to wind up a particular partnership firm, something like that, agreement of all parties. Okay, so there can be a discharge by mutual agreement. Now in all these cases, okay, it is or okay, in all these cases, when would this happen? Say suppose there is a novation in the contract, new contract altogether. So obviously the previous contract will get discharged by mutual agreement. Barabar? Then there is some alteration in the previous contract. So now obviously if there is an alteration, the previous contract will get released. Material terms you are altering. Material terms are altered. So obviously the previous contract will get discharged, right? Then next is rescission of the contract. Okay, rescission means by the agreement of the parties at any time before you could discharge. So by agreement, mutually agreed, okay, by agreement of the parties at any time before it is discharged. यानी अभी time नहीं आया था to perform the contract or something and you have already rescinded, cancelled it, mutually agreed. Okay, fourth, remission means what? You are accepting an amount lesser than what it was being agreed or what it was being contracted. Okay, accepting an amount lesser than that being contracted. So obviously you have remitted the contract. Okay, the previous contract comes to an end. And fifth is the waiver. Okay, you have abandoned your right. Okay, you have let go your right. Okay, which was there because of that contract, or you're giving up of your right, then your previous contract which is there will come to an end. Okay, so this is discharge by mutual agreement, another type of discharge of contract, okay, or termination of contract. So A is performance of the contract. Okay, in performance you have to keep in mind that what is a tender of performance and who can perform, who can demand the performance, and the effect of a refusal of a party to perform. And discharge by mutual agreement, these are the 5 cases, either by novation, alteration, recession, remission and waiver. Correct? Moving to the next, discharge of the contract by lapse of time. Discharge by lapse of time. Okay, so say suppose a debtor, okay, by lapse of time. Example यहाँ पे एकदम ये एक ही है. Actually, debtor had to pay a sum of money to his creditor. Okay, now that money had to be paid, say in a period of 3 months, but the debtor has defaulted. The time has already lapsed, this 3 months. So the contract has already got discharged. However, creditor can file the suit. Okay, and that he has to file it within 3 years. Okay. So say debtor had to pay, he did not pay in 3 months, he has defaulted. Creditor has a time, okay, 3 months time in order to file a suit against the debtor. Now, if this 3 months also lapse, 3 years also lapse, he will be barred. He will be barred to file a suit because it is under the Limitation Act. Okay, law has given you a limitation period. If you are lazy, you have not yet come within 3 years for this default of the debtor, then law will also, court will also not going to help you. Okay, you can of course recover from the debtor, but court is not going to help you. That is the meaning of the limitation. Okay, so discharge by lapse of time. Next is discharge by operation of law. Discharge by operation of law. Okay, so here, say suppose there is a merger, okay, of an inferior contract merged with a superior contract, okay, two contracts are getting merged over here. So yes, it will be discharged by the operation of law. The previous contract will get discharged. Then there is insolvency of a given party. When you had entered into a contract, he was fine, but later on he was adjudicated insolvent. So you cannot enter into any contracts, no, with insolvents. So again, it will become discharged by operation of law. And say there is an unauthorized alteration, okay, to material items of a contract without the consent of the parties. Items of the contract. Mutual consent, say you can alter. We did that, okay. If you're mutually consenting, you can alter the material terms and you can have a new contract in its place. But say if you're doing an unauthorized alterations on the material items of a contract, okay, of a written document, then if it is without the consent of one party, then this will be known as fraud. Automatically there will be a discharge by operation of law. Okay. Next is discharge by impossibility. Impossibility to perform. Impossibility is also known as, or discharge by frustration. Okay. Now what is this? Impossibility, or the contract itself has got frustrated. This is under section 56. Okay. Now say example, A had agreed with B to discover treasure by magic. Can this event be possible? Even if you have entered into a contract, the agreement itself is void. Agreement is void. Okay, so first thing, you cannot enter into any kind of contracts which are impossible for a particular promiser to perform. Okay, so if you are getting into a contract that I will keep on walking for the whole of my life, so these types of contracts cannot be entered into. If even it is entered, the agreement only, the contract also is a void contract. Okay, now there are two types of impossibility. One is a subsequent impossibility. Now, what is this subsequent impossibility? Okay, it means that the after the contract was made, it was nice contract. Okay, it is not something which is like an impossible thing to be done, like magic and all. No, here the contract was well made, but after the contract was made, okay, a proper valid contract was made. Okay, then there was some way that there was an impossibility by the performer or the promiser to perform. So say the singer contracted, okay, to sing and falls ill. Now this type of a contract is such a contract that the promiser himself will have to perform. Here his agent or his assignee cannot perform the contract. Now he falls ill. So here what will happen is, now the contract will become void, because it has become impossible for the singer. He's lost his voice. Say example. Okay, so either there is some impossibility on the part of the performer to perform, or a particular work or particular business which you were doing had become unlawful. Okay, the purpose for which you had contracted became unlawful. Okay, here promiser cannot prevent it. It's not in his hands. Promiser cannot prevent it. Okay, now in this, no, there is one case law. I'll just give you a bit of, a gist about this case law. Now say here there was this Mr. A. He contracted to sell a plot of land, and contract was with Mr. B. Okay, now before the plot could be developed, okay, the plot was not yet developed. Before the plot could be developed, okay, what happened is there was a war breakout. War broke out between the countries, okay, of where Mr. A stayed and B stayed. Okay, there was a war breakout, and land was temporarily, okay, acquired by the government. Okay, so now this, obviously now this land was acquired by the government. So now what did the court held is, court said, okay, it was like requisite by the government, acquired requisite by the government. So here the court held, so contract ho gaya and baad mein it became impossible, no. So what did the court held? Court held that section 56, first thing, that impossibility, subsequent impossibility, is not applicable only over here. Is not applicable here. Okay, because the requisition by the government was temporary only, temporary in nature and not permanent. So if for some period it was uh, requisite, and no time, and no time was specified between these parties A and B, okay, specified for performance of promise by A. Okay, so there was no time. So if there was no time only being mentioned as to when the promise is to be performed, or when the sale of the land has to be done and given to B. Okay, then this does not lead to impossibility. Impossibility. Okay. So this was what was held by the court. That try not to take a shelter behind section 56. Oh, now the government has only taken my land. Okay, yes, the war broke out. Okay, now, sorry, the war did not break out between these two these people, huh? There was a war in a both the Mr. A and Mr. B were in the same country. Okay, they did not become alien enemy. Okay, so there was a war breakout in that given country, and the government of that country had kind of temporarily represent the plot, the land of Mr. A. Now, since Mr. A and B only did not decide about the time of the performance of this promise, so like when are you going to perform? Like forever? Like you are going to keep this contract forever? When is the performance going to happen? So here, the government said that no, this was just a temporary performance, temporary requisition. Later on, we are going to release this land. But when are you going to sell it to Mr. B? So this is not leading to any impossibility. You cannot take a shelter here. Okay, so this was the case law of Satya Bata. Okay, Ghosh versus Mugnuram. Okay, so this was one case law which spoke about supervening subsequent impossibility. Okay, now coming to discharge by supervening impossibility. Okay, so one is subsequent, first, this is subsequent impossibility, and second is discharge by supervening impossibility. Supervening impossibility. Now, supervening impossibility are those again which are not in the hands of the promiser. First, okay, in that A, the subject matter for which they contracted, subject matter is destroyed, okay, without the fault of any party. Okay, so say here A and B contracted with each other for the sale of a horse. Okay, now when I had contracted, okay, I paid money also. He had given a contract and I told that yes, I will come on this particular day on 2nd Feb to take the delivery. But when I came to take the delivery, even B did not know and the horse had died. Subject matter is only not there. Correct? B. The continued existence, okay, of certain state of affairs which is required has ceased or changed. Okay, so say example, any kind of perishable goods, example milk, you had contracted for uh purchase of a milk, in wholesale, but the state of affairs required, okay, consumable state of affairs of that milk was not present, and it was also without the fault of any of the party. Supervening impossibility, nothing can be done about this. Okay, so here the contract will obviously get discharged. And lastly, by death. Okay, by death or physical disablement of the party. Disablement of party. Okay, if it is based on their personal qualification. If based on personal qualification. For example, singing. Singing, the example which we had taken, if that person is dead, the singer, again the contract will get impossible, supervening impossible. Okay, or if the contract is of marriage, so whichever person you had contracted with, that has only ended, he has died. Okay, so here, if it was based on personal qualification and that particular party himself has become disabled, then yes, the contract will get discharged by supervening impossibility. Now, in this last one is discharge by supervening illegality. Illegality. Okay, so here contract, see contract which is contrary to law, okay, which is against the law at the time of its formation, at the time of its formation, okay, then that particular contract is known as void ab initio. बिकॉज जब तुमने ये कॉन्ट्रैक्ट बनाया तभी वो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट कॉन्ट्ररी था लॉ के, तो फ्रॉम द वेरी बिगिनिंग ओनली दैट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वाज void ab initio. But say suppose after you made the contract, after the contract was made and there is a change in law, okay, change in law, due to which now your particular contract has become unlawful or contrary to law, then that particular contract is known as a void contract. Okay, then it is known as void contract and it is discharged by supervening illegality. Okay, now here Mr. A, he had contracted with Mr. B for cutting trees. Okay, for cutting trees, which was lawful at the time when this particular contract was made. Okay, but then at the after a later time there was one law which changed and they said that we will forbid, okay, it was statutory forbidding of cutting trees. So this contract became unlawful, thus it was discharged. Okay, now F1. So in this supervening, like in case of impossibility and frustration, there are three parts. Okay, subsequent impossibility, supervening impossibility, and discharge by supervening illegality. Okay. Now next is discharge by breach. Discharge by breach. Okay, you commit the breach of contract. Okay, so here there is a non-performance. Okay, you do not perform, do not tender performance, you breach it. Okay, or even if you perform, there is a defective performance in your contract. Okay, that is known as breach of contract. So here when there is a breach, the contract gets discharged. Now in breach also, there are two types of breach. One is actually you breached my contract. Okay, I had contracted with you that you will come and you will be playing music in my restaurant, okay, in my pub, DJ, but you never turned up. So it is discharged by breach. You had taken some honest money also from me. Okay, and here there is an anticipatory breach. Okay, anticipatory breach means before the time of performance of contract has come, before the time of performance, okay, um, the party aims at for non-performance, for non aims at breach, okay, or you can say aims at a breach of contract, kind of trying to cancel it. Okay, now in anticipatory breach of the contract, what happens is here before performance is due, the party may, opposite party, okay, the party may renounce his intention to perform. His intention to perform. So now what does the aggrieved party do? Aggrieved party has a right of action, the opposite party. Okay. The other party has a right of action. Now what action? Okay. Party has a right of action. Okay. Two things the other party can do. Either that other party can sue immediately. Okay, because today when I am entering into a contract with you and all of a sudden you call me and tell me that no, I'm not going to kind of perform this for you. Okay, so you can either sue immediately, or B, you either wait for the time due of its performance. Okay, now this you will understand with one very nice example. There is one case law known as Avery versus Bowden. Okay, Avery versus Bowden, A versus B. Now what had happened here? That A, he had hired a ship, okay, to carry a cargo from Russia. Now from whom did he hire? He hired it from Bowden. Now what happened is, yet the performance of the contract is not being there. Like अभी तक सिर्फ कॉन्ट्रैक्ट किया है, हायर किया है, शिप की अभी जरूरत नहीं है. इट इज एट अ लेटर डेट. ओके, सो दे हैड जस्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड टू हायर अ शिप to carry a cargo from Russia. Now later on, B renounced it. He repudiated the contract. Okay, now at the end moment, अभी performance उसका होने ही वाला है. Now I will be needing the ship anytime. Okay, he has repudiated the contract. So A has a choice. Either immediately he can sue B, or what happened is here, Mr. A, he delayed taking any action. Okay, he said that let's see, B might change the time because he's got two things. No, right of action, I told you the two things: you immediately or you wait for the time of due performance. So he thought that maybe, at the time, when the date of the performance will come, B will, get back to me saying that yes, my ship is still available to carry your cargo from Russia. But so he delayed in taking the action, hoping B would change his mind. Okay, I'm telling you this in very simple language. Would change his mind. Okay, before the time of the performance date or before the due date. But what happened is, unfortunately, there was a war. Okay, war broke out between Russia and Britain. So A was in Russia, B was in Britain. Okay, because of which they became alien enemy. They became alien enemy. And the contract became frustrated contract. It became void. So A lost his rights. A lost his rights to sue B because the contract was void. Contract became void. Getting my point here? Okay, so here if there is a breach which is an anticipatory already in the nature, then you either immediately sue or you wait for the time of performance, but then with the consequences. All right. Okay, so these were the ways and manners in which the discharge of a contract takes place. Now, since we are talking about breach, okay, so there are 6 ways, okay, A, B, C, D, E, F. We discussed all the 6 manners in which a contract can be discharged. Now, since we are talking about the breach, okay, so when there is a breach, remedies are available for breach. Remedies for breach. Now, what are those remedies given? Okay, now you have remedies for breach of contract, breach of contract. Also, you get damages. So there are two things. One is remedies and one is damages. You are paid for the damages caused to you. Okay, damages for breach. Now, sometimes these damages are liquidated. Liquidated means what? That you mention it in the contract only. अभी आजकल कोई भी contract बनाते हैं उसी में सब कुछ लिख देते हैं कि if there is a breach by any of the party, that party is supposed to pay this much percentage of compensation to this opposite party, this that. Okay, so liquidated damages you have, that means it is a part of your contract itself. It is written in your contract, expressly given. Or when you do not put any terms and conditions about the damages, then it will be known as unliquidated damages, where court has to decide. Now court will decide. Okay, so basically liquidated damages mein already the uh, parties have decided what will be the amount. Okay, and in unliquidated the court will have to decide. Now, for remedies for the breach of contract, what remedies does the party have? Firstly, he can rescind the contract, cancel it, rescind the contract, and refuse further performance, and refuse any further performance. Further performance. ठीक है? B, sue for damages. Okay. C, sue for specific performance. Okay, whatever is written in the contract, I want that only. You had contracted with me for the sale of this particular house. Okay, now this house is all the means I have to stay. Okay, so specific performance. I don't want any money, I don't want any damages, I don't want a monetary compensation. Sue for specific performance. Specific performance, specific relief act, we will be doing it. D, either you sue for injunction. Injunction means to stop, to take the orders of the court and stop the other party from doing a particular thing, to restrain the party from doing a particular act. So sue for injunction to restrain the breach. Okay, and lastly, E, you can sue on quantum merit. Quantum merit. जितना काम किया उतना तो पैसा दे दो, quantum merit. Okay, how much ever is being performed, pay at least for that much, right? So if I am, say, leaving a particular work, okay, leaving my employment, and I have not been paid salary for like past 2-3 months, so I have to be paid, no? How much ever work I have done, at least for that much I have to be paid. Okay, so sue on the quantum merit also is there. Okay, now in damages you have, okay, general damages. General. Okay, they are pecuniary in nature. Actually तुम्हें पैसों का नुकसान हुआ. Okay, then we have special damages, which is a special loss. Apart from monetary, you had other special losses. You lost another important client, etc. Some special loss. Then you have exemplary, where the court may order you exemplary damages. Exemplary damages are punitive in nature, punishable. Okay, so say in case of a promise to marry that is breached. Okay, or you can say a dishonor of check. You remember we had done this dishonor of check. Okay, that is also punitive. Then we can also have nominal damages. Nominal damages. Okay. Here in nominal damages, there is no actual loss. Okay, there is no actual loss to the party. Okay, but a small amount is given as a compensation. Okay, लीगल डैमेज हुआ है उसको, कंपेंसेशन. एक्चुअल कोई मॉनेटरी लॉस नहीं हुआ है, मॉनेटरी डैमेज, पिक्यूनरी डैमेज नहीं है. ओके. And specific performance also is, you can sue for the specific performance. Okay, you can sue for specific performance only when but you know, when money is not adequate for you, or you that particular performance was personal in nature, etc., etc. So there are certain exceptions to that specific performance that we will see when we will be doing specific relief act. Okay. Now I'm moving to a next concept, which is known as privity of a contract. Okay, privity of a contract means a stranger. Okay, a stranger cannot sue in a contract. Obviously, contract is between A and B. Okay, and C is coming in between, and he is trying to sue A. So, whereby you are a stranger, you cannot sue. There is a privity of contract between the parties. However, there are exceptions to this. Okay, exceptions first. The beneficiaries, if you are a beneficiary, actual, you know, the contract made between A and B and such a nature that the benefit is going to come to you. So then if there is a beneficiary under an agreement of trust, under an agreement of trust, then yes, then that beneficiary can sue the party. Then an assignee, the court had assigned this particular person. So an assignee by operation of law, because that person is either dead, okay, or has become insolvent. So many a times, you know, the courts appoint these assignees to look after the estates of the dead and the insolvent people. Then you have certain family arrangements. Okay, family arrangements. Again, it's same thing like a beneficiary. Okay, and fourth one is in case of a acknowledgement of a liability. In case of acknowledgement of liability, like how you can give a guarantee for other person taking a loan. And so if you are acknowledging a particular liability, though you will be a third person, you can sue, right? Next is promises made for the benefit of the third party. Promise made for benefit of third party. Okay, I'll tell you now the meaning of this beneficiary benefit. Now say, okay, the mother, okay, what did she do? In a will, she gifted, okay, the house to her son. Hmm? But in that same deed, okay, she contracted with her son that this house will belong to you in your name. In your name. But there will be a charge upon this house. You have to pay rupees 10,000 per month to your sister. It's a charge. So the sister, being the third party or the party which is beneficiary, okay, she's a third party. So tomorrow, if the son is failing to pay, she can definitely go ahead and sue the brother. Okay, so it's a charge on the immovable property. Okay, so though this becomes a contract. Okay, then we can have, yes, last is quasi contracts. Okay. Quasi contracts are those contracts which they are not completely in the nature of the contract. Okay, they are implied contracts. Okay, you may not have a written express thing for that. They are like a contract. A necessaries, supplying of necessaries. Okay, you are a person who are supplying necessaries to a minor, so you may not have an express contract, but obviously you can demand money, no? Right. Then B is suit for money had and received. Now what is this? Suit for money had and received. Where suit for money, okay, it's a suit for money where the plaintiff paid money to the defendant. Okay, to the defendant, either in a mistake or by coercion. Okay, so he can bring a suit for the money. Then payment मेड टू थर्ड पार्टी. मैं तुमने मुझे बोला था कि तुम इसको पेमेंट कर देना, बाद में मैं तुम्हें पैसा दे दूंगा. नाउ यू आर नॉट गिविंग मी मनी. ओके. देन मनी ऑब्टेन्ड बाय डिफेंडेंट. Money obtained by defendant from third party. Okay, so here say best example is a principal and agent. Okay, now what did the agent do? Agent went to the persons. Okay, agent went to sell the goods of the principal. So from all the buyers, agent is taking some amount of money. Agent is now the defendant, and principal is the plaintiff. Okay, he is taking money from the third parties. Okay, which are exorbitantly high. Okay, or he is taking secret commissions from these buyers. Okay, so here P principal can sue the agent for taking money from the third parties. Okay, then also the contract of quantum merit, which we just did. Quantum merit is also a quasi contract. And finder of lost goods. Finder of lost goods. Okay, if he has found your goods, okay, you lost some, you had put it in your, you kind of forgot your phone in the taxi or rickshaw. Okay, and he has found it. Okay, finder of lost goods. Okay, it's like a kind of a small contract. Some people, they give advertisement that whoever will find my, a pet dog or pet cat, I will be paying this much of money to that person. So it becomes a quasi contract. Okay, so if that finder, he brings that lost goods to you, you're supposed to make that payment. Okay, and E is, okay, E is if you have done any obligation for someone else, okay, which is non-gratuitous. फ्री में नहीं किया तुमने, नॉन ग्रेटिशियस एक्ट था वो. So then yes, it becomes a quasi contract. All right, so we'll quickly go to the notes now. So this is the end of general contracts. Okay, and tomorrow say we will be doing, like tomorrow we will be finishing with the special contracts also. We are supposed to do 5 types of special contracts. Okay, so if you see the topic, discharge or termination of the contract. Okay, A is performance, mutual consent, lapse, operation of law, impossibility, and by breach of contract. All the example wise everything is given. Okay, who may demand the performance, etc. Devolution of joint liabilities, it is only read, it is given for your understanding, that if two people had jointly given a promise, then how will they be performing? So more, give emphasis on the examples which we have given you in the notes. Okay, then mutual consent, lapse of time, operation of law, and impossibility of the performance. Okay, Discharge on the grounds of supervening impossibility. Okay, on the ground of supervening impossibility, commercial impossibility, and illegality, etc. Okay, so this supervening impossibility is also referred to as doctrine of frustration. Then breach, important. Breach is important. Actual and anticipatory breach. Okay, remedies available for the breach of the contract and the sue for damages. Now, in damages, we have one liquidated and we have unliquidated damages. So, generally, liquidated is the one which is already in the contract, so you will get paid with that particular damage only. But if it is unliquidated, then obviously the court will decide that what type of damages should they be giving you: ordinary, whether special, punitive, or nominal. Suit for specific performance, read. Okay. Then suit for injunction is also read. This all will be getting covered in Specific Relief Act. And suit for quantum merit. Then contingent contracts are those contracts which may or may not happen, because that condition on which the contract is based, that condition may or may not happen. Okay, so like for example, contract of insurance, contract of indemnity, and a contract of insurance is something that event may or may not happen. You have taken insurance, fire insurance for your factory. Insurance company will only pay you if a particular fire is there in your factory, na? So contingent contracts and quasi contracts. So contingent are those which are based, dependent upon something that may or may not happen under section 31. Okay, so what are the examples of a contract of contingent contract? Contract of insurance, contract of indemnity. Indemnity is what, say suppose I'm a director of a company, they are saying ki baba, give an indemnity bond stating that tomorrow if something goes wrong because of your acts in the company, you will pay, you will make good the loss of that company. Okay, so contract of indemnity and guarantee. Okay, these are all. In case of guarantee also, what happens is, in case of guarantee, you kind of have to pay only if the principal debtor is not able to pay, the guarantor. You will pay the money only if the principal debtor is not able to pay. Then meaning of the nature and meaning of quasi contract, this all they ask you for like 3 marks. Okay, so quasi contract also, if you just know the headings, is enough. Claim for necessity supplied to a person incapable of contracting. Example, minor, lunatic. Okay. Obligation, if you're doing some obligation for some other person. Responsibility of the finder of goods. You have paid money under mistake. Okay, so till here it was General Contracts Act. It's over. And in my next video, we will be discussing the special contracts. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone.